What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. You're hanging out with, of course,
the realest OG in the building right here. And I'm chilling with my main man,
Aaron Mumuli mwenyewe.
Yeah.
Ukoaje?
Niko salama manze. Niko bie.
Good to see you.
Shukran. Episode 13.
Episode 13.
Manze.
We're still going.
We're still going strong manze.
Jumi niko serious. Uko serious?
Niko serious manze. Baka tugonge episode so ndo sasa tucheki sasa vile for me.
Ni so peke yake ama?
So ndo sasa like.
So ndo sasa tutasema okay. Hebu tu
Exactly.
Very good to hear.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Nimekuwa salama. Nashukuru. Still excited to do this thing.
Been a minute before you recorded,
we just recorded the other day. It's not been a minute. So yeah.
Okay.
So before you even get to today's topic, napenda kuchangamsha siku hizi.
Manze utafanya
swali za haraka.
Hizi quick fire zako mimi sidai.
Swali tu moja haraka, but nana need answers tatu. So Isaac Newton is credited for his 3 laws of
laws of it's force.
It's motion.
Laws of motion. Sorry.
Yeah.
Motion.
So hebu niambie hizo laws tatu.
Laws of motion. Unajua mimi nilikuwa napenda physics nikiwa high school.
Acha tuone. Ulifanya physics by the form 4?
Nilifanya physics.
Yeah, mimi nilifanya physics.
Okay, I remember
but wait, by the way, so if you get the 3, then I'll give you 1,000. If you don't get the 3, you'll give me 1,000.
Okay, that's very steep. Inafaa then you 1,000 for each question.
So ukikosa zote tatu, you'll give me 1,000.
Nikikosa zote tatu, I'll give you 1,000.
If you get
I get all 3, you're giving me 1,000. Yeah. That sounds like a fair deal.
So you have like 45 seconds.
Kuna ingine it's like a paragraph to explain. What do you mean?
I explain it in Swahili or mother tongue, just simple terms.
The one I remember most was a body will maintain its motion unless interfered with by another body.
Yes, so that is law 1. The first law of motion.
That's fast.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Aye.
Yeah, the body will remain in its state of rest or motion unless acted upon by an external force. Tuendelee. So
hiyo ndio inaleta F is equals to MA.
So that is 2. That is that is number 2.
I've explained number 2. I've forgotten the words for it.
Force is equals to mass times acceleration.
Yeah.
So the last one, the third law of motion.
Well, relax more and it's very fresh. No, it's because I found them interesting. It's just that. Chill.
For 1,000 Kenya shillings.
You're fresh and inafanya hata nisifikirie by the way.
So 10.
Chill.
8. 7. 6.
Near gravity.
4.
Is it gravity?
3. 2. 1.
Yeah, it's okay. Lovely.
So the third one is for every action there's an
equal and opposite reaction. What the hell? Okay.
But thanks.
Sasa the easiest one is the one I've forgotten. But unajua tukiwa high school, you'd be like, this is so easy. I don't need to think about it. Let me focus on the toughest one. So the toughest one.
I know.
But very good. Next time mimi nakuja na maswali zangu. Na zangu.
Mimi sidhani kwa tunaweza niuliza nishinda.
Uko sure?
Yeah, niko 100% sure.
Uko sure?
Next time by the way, wacha kuja na maswali.
Mimi zangu na maswali za philosophy, my friend.
In fact, mimi si ati yo nakwambia ati nipate zote tatu ama nikose zote tatu. Mimi like
I want you to be sure because
like the stakes such as high as possible,
because me takuja na maswali za the golden rule okay sawa nimesikia vile amejichocha which is okay
so anyway, so what are we talking about today?
Today we wanted to at least address a topic that I think more or less will help with the general discussion of becoming a better person in summary. I'm sure you guys have already seen in the description, but just to mention, we're talking about thinkers versus doers.
Wenye wanasemanga na wenye wanatenda.
Kuna kusema na kuna kutenda.
So,
kuna yenye nasemwanga masaa ya campaign tunasema, lakini sasa different story. So I think how do you want us to handle? Tunaweza
I think if we just look at maybe even the definition just broadly, I know it's self-explanatory, the two words, but when we talk about thinkers, we talk about people who, when you go think, come up with ideas, come up with strategy and all those things. But then in this case, we are trying to consider the thinker, the person who spends most of his time thinking, against the doer, the person who may not be thinking much, but for them it's let's move. We don't need to spend.
For them, they focus. Actually, Apple already address definition kidogo that when you're talking about a thinker, uni mtu mwenye atakaa chini aseme okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H before they even decide to do. And sometimes you will realize that a thinker might not even execute, but they will be able to generate that strategic plan. They'll be able to have that, let me call it oversight. Oversight, see, we've lost something, but oversight, I can see this is the outcome because we've done all the preparation and all that. The doer, on the other hand, huyo ni msewa, tusonge.
Tutafikiria hizo steps zingine baadaye. Naweza kwa tu nimefigure out step A, but acha tusonge nayo. Step B will figure it out as we go, as we move. They're sort of like, improvising as they move, thinking of ideas and other steps to take as they move. But the doer would rather, if there are 26 steps to take A to Z, will rather have a clear picture of everything from A to Z.
That's the thinker, right?
Yes. So the thinker will have to sit down, analyze everything. So it doesn't matter if it takes 5-10 years. Let us just take the time, think about it fast.
5-10 years.
I'm just trying to just painting that picture. But they will spend.
It's more or less strategizing, calculating, analyzing, and all that. These are technical terms. You're doing all that. Okay. Exactly. Very interesting. So what are you?
Mimi sai, to be honest, mimi am a doer. Like, siko ubaya. It doesn't mean that I do not take time to think or to plan ahead, but I do not advocate for spending too much time thinking or mulling of an idea. Mimi ni ule wa wacha to move, let us just do it now. Like Nike, let us just do it. We'll figure the rest of the way out as we move. Because from experience, what I've realized, and most people, even me previously, I used to spend a lot of time thinking, analyzing, and mostly you'll find that you're just analyzing. So okay, if I take this step, what will happen next? As in, there could be that risk over there. Am I really ready for that? Take that risk. So you're like, let me just chill. Let me analyze everything kidogo. But right now I'm like, tutajua huko baadaye. Kazoze. So right now, initially, I was more of a thinker of, but now I'm more of, let's take the action. Let's just do it right now. So I don't know you. I don't know about you, but I feel as if you're more of, the cautious person who'd like to consider everything first.
I am very cautious. I am quite cautious. For me, I do not. Actually, most of my time, I'd say I spend on now just thinking about, okay, if this is the scenario, what will happen if this is the approach? Okay, now that we've decided on this approach, do we need to consider any contingencies that will try and help us to still achieve the objective, if that's the objective that we are? So for me, that's where I'm at. That also doesn't mean that I do not take time to do the things that need to be done, but it's just that when it comes to now operations, you'll notice that in general, in any event, you have like a time limit. Let's say you're given like 2 hours a day, a month, a year.
Yeah.
So in that case, I will take a lot of time out of the 2 hours, out of a day, out of a month, out of a year. I'll take some time, a considerable amount of time to just say, okay, wacha tuone. Wacha tuone, because we know that's the end goal.
Yeah.
Let us try to strategize and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I agree with that observation of yourself, because I'm at that your self-appraisal, because in a few instances where we've had to do something together. For example, even if it's just me, you, and some other guys, and then someone comes up with an idea, and then they say, "You guys, can we try this? Can we do this? What do you guys think about this?" So me personally, if it's something I've just had of the idea, and then I'm like, okay, this is something that can work. Let us move. Me. And I'm sure you've experienced this, that I'll just go like, okay, so what do we need? Like,
yes, so by the way, for you have been, what do we need? Get it? Do we start now?
Yes, exactly. That's you, so I'm like that. But then you, on the other hand, what I've experienced is, you'll be like, okay, guys, see, we just take a step kidogo. Let us think about it. Can we just think about it over the weekend, the next week? We just consider everything.
Then
someone,
execute.
You get the information, this information from this person. And then we consider everything. Right. So you're that kind, you're like, okay, let us just relax kidogo, try to consider hizi vitu. But me sasa ni ule wa
I agree.
To move, cause the one thing that I fear is for and I've seen this in so many, and I'm sure even you've seen this so many times, when people are trying to do something together, you'll find that sometimes people get wrapped up in
paralysis of analysis.
Yes, the paralysis of analysis, where it's just, you're just analyzing everything. At the end of the day, you're just paralyzed. Nothing moves. So 2-3 months down the line, you guys had a really, really good idea, but there's nothing to show up to show for it. You see, so me, I try and avoid that by making sure there's that commitment that we've made. For example, if maybe people need to put in some funds, we all need to contribute something. I'd be like, okay, so let's put in the money, and then let us just think about it as we move. So yeah, I try and avoid that scenario where we will end up not doing that thing. And maybe it was something that would have benefited us all in a very good way. So yeah, I really try and avoid that. Because I know I have been there. There are some opportunities that have passed me by,
that you've lost.
And and looking back, I'm like, okay, I wish we actually took action there.
We don't need to lose any more opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to lose any more opportunities. And that's why nowadays I've adopted that mentality of, let's just go ahead and do it. What's the worst that can happen?
For me, though, I also think that it goes with time, because it's if now we just do an assessment and say on the analysis scale or on the thinker scale, where is Harold now versus where he was before. Back then, I used to really analyze, as in. Me say, now I'm trying to remember, back at a high school campus, I would go through all the questions and say, okay, unapitia and you're like, okay, I'll do number 3, 4, 7, then go back to 1 and 2. That's what I would. As in, back then, hata kama ni kusoma maswali zote, then even spend 10 minutes answering, na uko na 2 hours, that's what I would do back then. And I agree with you that even for me, I have lost a bit of opportunities, because sometimes you just lose track of time, and sometimes it's paralysis of analysis. I think for me, it's more like, additionally, it's an intrigue of just doing branching out all the options and just thinking about what will happen if A, B, C. But now I have tried to reduce that, how much I really analyze things. Pia mi sahi nakaanga and I'm like, wait, hapana, tumeenda sana, stop, execute. Kwa sababu you've had this time to think. If you haven't thought about those areas, it's fine, let's go with what we have and move on. I think what we can do, because you are a doer and I'm a thinker, more or less. I'm not saying that it means that you don't spend your time in analyzing, or I don't spend my time in doing. we can more or less outline the traits. What traits would you say you have that presents you as a doer?
I think the key trait I would say is I always just ask myself, as in, what's the worst that can happen? Let's say, for example, even if it's an investment or an opportunity that maybe has presented itself, and then maybe there's that window where if you do not take advantage of it, you've
lost it.
But there's still that chance that you might end up getting burnt, burning your fingers, losing maybe even if it's some money, or
just because you acted too fast.
You acted too fast. So personally, the mindset that I have is, like, what's the worst that can happen? I will probably lose a few shillings here and there, but I will probably have gained that experience. And the mentality that I usually have is the pain of regret is far worse than the pain of failure. So I'd rather fail and then just figure out what went wrong.
Hapo umedrop bars ati ish mpaka you're comparing pains. Okay.
Yeah, so for me, the pain of regret, because for example, if that thing works out for you, maybe you are the doer and then you took advantage of that opportunity, and then 1 year down the line you're like, hey, we meet, you're telling me, but you remember that chance that we got? We actually just decided to go with it, and we'll see where I am right now.
And that has happened to me.
Really?
Unasikianga umeboeka huko za guy. Alafu unaangalia unasema mimi manze ningefanya kitu better kuliko.
So for me, you see, that is the pain of regret. You're like, that opportunity just passed me by. So for me, I'd rather feel the pain of failure. I tried it, I went into it, and then it did not work out. Because then I'll just take a step back, analyze everything, see what went wrong, how I will try and improve that next time. So that, first of all, that mentality of just, what is there to lose? Yeah, what's the worst that can happen? So for me, it's more or less the mentality of just do it anyway. Just do it. Just do it afraid. So I'll just take that deep dive into whatever it is. We'll figure it out as we go.
Okay.
So for me, I think that is trait number one. And it's more or less the major trait. The driving force. Yeah, that is the F is equals to MA. Yeah.
So, okay, very interesting.
Plus, there's still the fear of, so what if I don't, I don't go into it, okay, and then as in the fear of, I don't want to call it the fear of missing out, but it's, okay, but it's more or less.
The fear of missing out.
Yeah.
That you have something in you that would be able to deliver in that opportunity. Yeah. But just because you did not act, you are not a participant of it.
Yeah. Plus, I think I'm also a risk taker in a sense. And especially as I've matured, as I'm aging, I've realized by the way, I do not. You remember there's in one episode I proclaimed that I'm fearless. And because nowadays nimekuwa hivyo like
whatever happens.
The worst that
regardless
can happen,
we move.
Yeah, regardless we move. The worst that can happen is that you die, and so let us move. Now kidedu umededi. It won't happen like twice. You will die. People will move on.
Okay.
And yeah. So for you, I don't know what is the trait that you would say you can associate with.
I think for me, I'd say it's living in my head. I think that's the major trait in general that outlines what I think I is. And if I can just expound a bit more on living in my head is we can actually be having a conversation here and I'm thinking about, so now that this is the conversation, now I'm also having a conversation with myself about that conversation and we're actually branching out. And sasa, it's not just about conversations. It's now about the decision makings that you'll have to make, that you encounter from our day to day. That hata inafika saa zingine I'm like, asubuhi na mapema I'm like, I need to get to the office. Aya, kaa naenda kwa ofisi, what do I need to do? Calculate back, calculate forward. Here's the scenarios. Leo kwanza nini itahappen? Unaget? So that's the major trait I would attribute to myself as a thinker. I would say for me that yes, it has lost a bit of opportunities, but it has won a few as well, because there are some areas where it really was required. And I don't know if I can calculate and say that I've lost more than I've won, or I've won more than I've lost. But I would say that I have found myself in scenarios where thinking about the entire outcome has put me at an advantage. I've been in scenarios where I've been like, unajua ningekuambia hapo na how I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. That you've spent some time to really think about the outcome. So you are seeing that whatever someone else is doing will lead them to a negative outcome from the expected one. So you're like, I get that you're trying to do this to get here, but you can change this so that it safeguards you, or it prevents this negative outcome from getting to you.
Would you say you're more or less risk averse, in the sense that, as in, one of the traits is that you are reluctant in taking up risk, even if it may mean that maybe there's an opportunity somewhere, that your the trait that is within you is, like you see me, I'll take that.
You have a risk appetite towards action.
Yes. So for you, you're like, okay, the risk appetite may not be as,
I would say my risk appetite is towards thinking that if we take a scenario, let's say execution, I like including the example of time constraint, the example that includes a time constraint, to just show how much risk you're undertaking. That, for example, if you have a plan, an activity that requires probably 10 hours for execution, I will try and figure out a way to execute it in the shortest time possible. So I might spend 9.5 hours thinking about the options. Then by the time I'm done, execution in 20 seconds, and I have. It's
similar to the story where two guys are told to, they're given an axe, and then they're told to cut down a tree, and then one spends 9 hours sharpening the axe, more or less just preparation. 1 hour chopping it down, as opposed to the other person who is will immediately jump into the action and start with that blunt blade.
So by the time you're done, after okay, that is also actually, yes, I would say
I'm thinking of the thinking aspect of you, of the one that you're talking about, or rather the analysis, is more or less that preparation. You're just setting
preparation. That I will try and think. So now for me, where you would say that I am risk averse. Risk averse means that I don't want to take up any risk. Is that if I am introduced to any opportunity or any scenario that does not allow for my thought process to kick in, first of all, I'd just be very hesitant. I'd be like, hii yenye utaki kunifikiria, hii inakaa kakon mahali. So that's me. That's why every time you're asking questions, I'm like, akona objective gani? But that now is me. I also want to ask you, because I think that presents a thinker, right? Has being a doer, more of a doer for you, also led you to losing some opportunities? I don't know.
As a doer, I will more or less, take action. So, for example, if there are 10 opportunities that I am presented with, 9 or 8 out of 10 of those opportunities I will take advantage of. I will just dive into those opportunities and go with them, and regardless of whether I'm, some of them will turn out bad. I'll lose maybe some money. I'll fail in some, but again, I'd rather fail than not, take up the opportunity and have the pain of regret later on. So I wouldn't say I've lost. What I have lost is the opportunity ended up not maybe giving me the returns
that you expected.
that I was expecting. But me letting the opportunity go, it's very difficult for me to do that. I will more or less dive into it. But of course, still, I'm not just diving into things blindly like, oh, okay, someone comes and tells me this, okay, let's do it. Someone else, okay, let's do it. Z. I'll still consider the things that are being presented to me, or rather the opportunities that come my way. But I more or less, or more often than not, I will.
Oh, you will win.
I will take action. I will take up the opportunity.
You will get the returns at least.
Yes. But also the attitude that I have is, even if the returns, I do not get the returns that I was hoping for, I'm taking it as a positive.
So you're prepared as well.
Yeah, I'm prepared.
You're like, I know, even though the sell is that I will get 100, if I get 30, still okay.
Yeah, still okay.
Okay.
So that is the kind of mentality that I have. So, I
very interesting, huh?
Yeah. So, I will go in and see what happens. So, but I liked what you said there about just the preparation bit of it, because it makes sense by the way. Because I think one of the ways that maybe someone can avoid not getting into something is just that preparation bit. Make sure that you prepare. If you prepare well for it, for example, if you do your research, of course you don't want this research to take forever, but if you do your research within a reasonable amount of time, and you prepare yourself, in so many other ways, then I think you won't have the you won't start second guessing yourself. Do I take this up? Do I go into it? So for me, come to your example, the person sharpening the axe, the axe for
okay.
for 9 hours.
Okay, axes.
Yeah. So once umesharpen your kitu, you're like, I am ready to go. Like,
ready to go.
This thing, I'll just do it in like
9 hours. I need 20 minutes.
20 minutes to take it. Yeah.
So wewe umechukua 8 hours and 20 minutes. Huyo ameangusha 9 hours na ile jasho amengoa. It's like, it's terrible. But I also like that you mentioned that even in your as a doer, even when you dive in, you also need to prepare yourself for the outcomes that are unexpected. Outcomes that are unexpected, meaning that sometimes just because you have this interest in this opportunity, it does not mean that it will give you the return that you anticipate just because you are the first one to start that race. So as long as you you have prepared yourself mentally and you have that expectation that even though napeleka hizi vitu za this space inaweza kosekana. And I think sometimes in the scenarios that I've found myself diving in head first without kupiga hesabu as much as I would like to, I think that has also helped me to just more like it's that ka security yenye unakaa ukisema it's fine, kakiniramba it's because of ABC, na kakienda fiti also well and good. I also wanted to find out from you because you mentioned that for you initially you were a thinker. Now I think I've hung out with you long enough to also notice that there has been a gradual change from a thinker to a doer, because the OG back then from the OG right now, I'd say it's like there has been an intentional effort to be more of a doer than a thinker. How did you get to that point? it's not that I'm saying that a thinker is better than a doer or a doer is better than a thinker, but in the event that I need to harness the doer in me, hiyo ni kisu gani ilibidi ni sharpen. Okay, I know I'm
yeah, you know. But I think one of if you look at, let's say someone is purely a thinker, let's say we have this opportunity that is here, so and we both know what to do. So a thinker, let's look at someone who's purely a thinker. They will just think and think and think. They will not do anything. And then the other person won't even start thinking. They'll just take.
Because you already know. There's no thought about it.
So I think one of the things that I've come to realize over the years is that most people, they will stop themselves from actually taking that action because of, I'd say, and this is my own personal experience, I'd say it's because of fear. And fear, there are fear of many things. There's fear of what will happen, and one of the things that I've realized is that people ask, what will people say? What will people think?
Fear of the unknown.
Yes.
And fear of what
yes. So there's the fear of the unknown. So you don't know what will happen. So you're not sure, if I take this step, will I end up regretting it later? So you're afraid, like clearly you're afraid of the outcome.
Call back to the fear versus faith episode.
Oh yes, you can go back to there's an episode we did, fear versus faith. You can just go back. We'll just put a link up here. So yes, there's the fear of the unknown, and then there's the fear of what people will think of you. And the fear of the unknown for me has been addressed by the fact that nowadays I'm like, what is the worst that will happen? If it won't kill me, then it most definitely will make me stronger. So the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. So
by the way, me maswali zangu zinatoka kwa kina Friedrich Nietzsche and the likes. So I will advise when you're going back. It's okay. Very fine.
So if it won't kill me, then it definitely will make me stronger. So that addresses the fear of the unknown, the fear of the outcome. So already I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and do it. And then the other one, the fear of what people will think of me, what people will say. That one, I came to realize that, so what, even if...
but also that's part of the unknown.
Plus, if you look at it this way, in 3 or 4 generations from now, there's someone who said this, 3 or 4 generations from now, everyone that you know will be dead, including you. So everyone that you know will be dead. Even the people whose opinions stopped you from doing what it is that you wanted to do. So why do you even care? Like those people, watakuwa wamedai wote. So let me just do it. Either way, whatever they'll say, it won't matter anyway. So let me just do it. Let me just live my life. Yeah. So let me just live my life. If I take a wrong turn, because of my need to go and act, then well and good. That is a lesson that I shall have learned. I'll just go ahead, take another turn, and get back to the right road. Whoever is making noise around me and they're not doing anything, they're making noise at me for actually doing something. Fuel
to the flame.
Yeah, exactly. Fuel to the flame. So I think that is a state of mind that I've placed myself over the years. By the way, it's a gradual, just realization that just hakuna kitu watu watadu. We just move. Plus, whatever happens, enda tu bro. To just endelea songa tu songe.
Keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. As in kelele huku kando isikuzuie.
Sana sikiza watu hizo ni kelele za chura.
By the way. So I think that is what has changed for me over the years. My attitude towards
the realization
Yes.
as well that the things you're scared of are actually just unknowns that you can't control either way.
So fear is actually, as in, what is fear by the? It's just something in your head telling you that hey, Z. So for me, that is where I am at right now and where I've come in my journey of just shifting from that analysis of paralysis
of
the paralysis, the analysis, to now the Nike Nike mentality. Let's just do it. Because by then I can tell you for a fact, I'm sure so many people, it's not that they don't know what to do. They could even do all the analysis. They have all the information that they need to move, but now when it comes to just taking that first step,
tena inakuwa challenge. Alafu sasa inakuwa ni excuse. I also want us to differentiate specifically because that is that's also different. That someone will still say I still, because excuses. There's your thinker yenyewe, by the way, you are spending some quality time to ensure that the deliverables are the deliverables that you anticipate, and you are not spending any time to justify A, B, C at is nini. Unaona hiyo yenye tunasema hiyo time wastage. I'm sure you can relate to what I'm saying, that inafika mahali you don't have any information about whatever, but you're still spending time thinking about but that's different. I think for me, I have seen also some wins with being a doer. But I have seen as well value in being investing in that thought process and just doing the preparation. So for me, it has been advantageous to be very careful not to be swallowed into the black hole yenye tunasema. It's actually a black hole, paralysis of analysis yenye if whatever you're looking at, kama you have all the info you need, it's very difficult actually to outline that I have all the info I need. But if you have all the answers you can get, and there's no way to get any more information from it, just move. And more often than not, because the world that we live in, you will never find yourself in a situation where you have perfect information, like you have all the information that you need. So impossible. You will have maybe 50%, 60%, 70 or 80% of the information that you need. So the 20 may be something out of that is not within your reach. So move regardless. You already have the 80. Okay, just move with the 80. Are we saying that the society we are in is awarding doers more than it is thinkers? I would say I would say yes. Why? Because I think by the time the thinker is now deciding, it's I've analyzed everything. This is as much information as I can get regarding whatever it is that I want to get into. By the time they now are taking their first step, the doer with their imperfect information has already taken 10 steps ahead. So for you to actually, they already have that head start. So for you to, I think ile thought process yako inakufikisha step 15. There is a possibility by the way. But still, the doer will be much ahead. So if there are other opportunities that are lying ahead, let's say at step 10, the doer is already there, and that maybe that opportunity at step 10 will take them to confidently saying that step 100. Now, you never know. Maybe that opportunity there at step 10 will actually catapult them to step 100. So by the time the doer, the thinker here is still analyzing, thinking, there's an interesting. There's a time that we were at work, and then one of our bosses wanted us to do a presentation, a certain presentation, and then he kept coming and asking, "Wait, when is this thing? Where is it? Is it not ready?" So in my thinking, I wanted to perfect it, kabisa.
So I kept telling him, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. Working on it. Every week he'd come and ask, so where are we? So I think eventually one morning he came in and it was just me and another colleague in the office. And then he said, yeah, you still haven't, akukwa na ile pressure, you have to do it now. But he just wanted it done so that,
get it over.
Then he said that one of his bosses told him one day that there's no point in preparing a very nice meal and then serving it while the person is dead. So I was like, because for me, I just wanted to perfect this thing and stuff. And then they are like, by the
nitakufa juu umeamua kumarinate for 9 days in nyama. Oh my goodness.
The guy is dying there. You are telling him that, hey, I'm just marinating it vizuri. Sitaki kukuserve tu kitu tu hivi.
Tunajua ile marination nimeweka hiyo barbecue sauce. It can't go less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, that time when he said that, I was like, what? Like something just clicked in me and I was like, by the way, and it makes sense. So funny thing, I think it was on a Friday. That weekend I worked on that presentation and then by Monday it was ready by the way. So we did it that week.
Was it as good as you expected it to be?
It was, by the way, it was good. Funny enough, because I had already taken this time to prepare it. But still, there was something in me like, okay, I need maybe to just perfect it kidogo, just marinate it kidogo. But I was like, it is already good. Like, whatever you have already, just go with it. So it ended up being really good by the way.
And do you think looking higher on the food chain, that even if you now go higher in the food chain, now I'm trying to think about the entire organization structure and all that, that pia huko they're also just awarding your mwenyana quickest done.
I think even in the organizations that we're in right now, it's time is as crucial to to every organization as it has never been before. As in, time is very crucial. So, like, if you can do something haraka, umalize haraka, get it done, the better. As opposed to someone who is spending a whole week to accomplish something that someone else has already done.
Ama mi nikae chini niseme tu, I have spent 3 weeks to ensure that this thing can be done in 25 minutes. So, I've simplified this entire process by doing that.
If the time that is needed for you to finish that project is the 3 weeks, then whatever you do in between, I think
is all on you.
Yeah, is all on you. If you're still able to deliver within the 3 weeks, well and good. But if the project that people are waiting on for you to deliver is very, very dependent on time is a very crucial factor, then I think whoever delivers
fast, of course, very true. And I agree with you. And unfortunately as well, if you look at most of the let me call them entry level opportunities. So now I'm looking at the job space, at even entrepreneurial space and all the areas. They will require that quick delivery.
Yes.
Nikiingia restaurant, kama nika startup, I don't want to spend more than 25 minutes if the food is not ready. I'm walking out, right?
Yes.
If I enter an organization, once a report lands on my desk that needs action, if I spend more than a day on it, inakuwa haezi deliver, right? So I think I agree with you that today we are living in a space that awards, I don't know if it's I don't have the data as well to share the analysis, but more or less awards doers instead of thinkers. As long as you know what you're doing, uko sawa. But I am also very keen to note that for it to even get to that point, it's because someone has sat down and done a lot of thinking that akakwambia, hii report jaza hizi lines 3 na unirudishie, right?
Yeah, and I think
Excuse me.
It would be best, the perfect thing would be you have that thinker that is analyzing everything and that is spending so much time in, you know, making sure that we know where we are going.
That has the foresight. And anasema, okay, I can see that miles ahead this kuna hizi changes zenye zita make that even your strategy I'm looking at with the changes in economy, I'm looking at hizo vitu zote.
Yes. But you also need, it would be very beneficial if you also have that doer, that person that is like, okay, so we've looked at all that, can we just tuchangamke kitu tusonge by then. Yeah, by then, because it, as in at that point you're utilizing the, you know,
so exactly the thinker within and the doer within.
I think they would complement each other in a very, very nice way.
And I think even in an individual level, we can also just, if you're able to also just strike that balance, that tukue na ako ka discernment yenye unasema hapa here I don't need to think sana, wacha tuzoze uskume. But when it's something that needs the thought process, you would also stand to benefit a lot, because again sometimes opportunities might also pass just because you didn't take time to think. I think the example I like to think about is, I don't know if it's a true story or it's not, is okay, I don't know if I'm putting too much out there, but the story I've had behind this guy who brought up M-Pesa. The thing was that he had that revolutionary idea that, hey, let us implement it in this way, set it up. And he went to Safaricom and he was like, yes, I have this idea. You have your money, but you don't need cash. Transactions are countrywide and all that. And they're like, okay, we'll get this idea from you and we'll give you X much. I was like, that's a lot. Acha tusonge nayo. So he was like, okay, that's comfortable. Long run, the guy is like, wow. M-Pesa is like this much, and he's like, wow, this is my idea. And now he's coming back and he's like, hey, I didn't think that you could leverage in vitu kama licensing, in vitu kama unaona. So I'm just trying to sijui
I hear you. Like, for him, the first offer that was placed on the table, he just jumped on it.
Because it was like, this is an opportunity, too good to be.
But he did not have, let's say, the foresight that maybe I think I would have to see, like, 10 years from now, this thing could actually be big. So I cannot sell it right now, sell this idea for this much right now. It may seem like a lot, but 10 years from now, I'll look back and think,
because jamaa kama hata angekuwa anaopata kabob,
just 1 shilling per
tumekuwa tunalipa.
You know. But I hear you, like, there's that if you look at that example, inakuonyesha that
sometimes you need to harness the thinker in you, and sometimes you might also be required to just harness the doer in you. Because again, if he hadn't done anything, he would have lost everything, of course. And if
but I think if he had that wisdom of just maybe just involving, or rather doing a bit of research, just and you know, tapping into that thinker aspect of his you know. It would have really saved him a lot. But there's this story, I'm not sure about it, but it's the story of Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone. So apparently there's another guy called Elisha Gray. Back then, so that guy, but you guys can confirm this story. That guy, I think he had the idea of the telephone, but he took a bit of time before going to the patent office to register his patent. So when he eventually decided to go and register the patent for the telephone, he was told, by the way, Alexander Graham Bell was just here. He registered that patent for the telephone. So you see, like, he just beat him by a few, just probably a few minutes.
Ama hata tuseme a day.
Yeah, even a day. But because Graham Bell was like, ai kitu kazaze tuende tuchape hii kitu. So akaenda na ikakuwa hivyo na so right now, even when you read in books,
you will not hear about
Elisha Gray. Yeah,
you'll just hear
about Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone. So yeah, it's tricky by the way. If you look at that M-Pesa story, you're like, okay, yeah, maybe the M-Pesa guy could have like just thought about this thing a little longer, but then that thinking a little longer for Elisha Gray cost him
an entire patent, my friend. Na sasa angekuwa nakula mzuri na hizi mpaka masimu zetu.
It's I think the key is just finding that balance and having that wisdom, like you're saying, to also know, even if it's consulting people, because sometimes in your analyzing and your thinking, you might need to maybe consult experts in that field that you
don't need to do it alone.
Very true. Just consult, but do not spend your entire time consulting. Just consult, and then also have that wisdom to know it's now time to execute. Let's go. Let's just do it. So yeah, it's a balance that needs to. But for a team, I'd advise if we have both. It's actually better to have someone who's able to strategize and also just someone who needs to pick the point where, hey, we need to have. Yeah, because like for us right now, me I'd say like I'm the one kazoze you're like, okay, let us
analyze of course after me.
Because hey, we want to do this could be a long-term investment. Let us think about it critically, because if we do it now, there's no chance of changing it maybe for the next 2-3 years. We want, so yeah.
But either way, I think what I can say, even as you're trying to decide whether you're a thinker or a doer, as you're trying to decide whether this opportunity requires a thinker or a doer, it's also just appreciating that whatever decision you made, it's you, and ni wewe, si ati tena pia mtu asikuje ati jamaa, because hata I'd like to think of myself as even if I was the Elisha or even the guy for Safaricom, I'd still be like, by then that's what I knew and that's what I did, right?
True. So do not usishinde hapo to
move ila wewe unasukuma.
Before we actually finish, I remember when did you have the idea of starting this podcast? I think ilikuwa 2020 time ya COVID hapo around, ama it was before that?
It was slightly before COVID. Slightly before COVID.
So
that's
2019. So we've we are here talking about thinkers and doers. We've had this idea of starting this podcast since 2019. So 2020, 21, 22, 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
But we've been in that thinking phase for the past 4 years.
Chill.
So now is when we've decided to do it. So I'm assuming but in any case, we are like,
either way, either way ni sisi. So as in what happens,
started,
right?
Anyway,
we've
actually started,
and we're here, and we're pushing, and again we're building the community, guys. So this is us. Just join us with as many episodes as we have right now. This is number
13. 13.
We're going strong.
Yeah, we're going strong. We're going strong.
So guys, I think that's a summary for us, right?
Yeah.
So please, if you're new here, just consider subscribing, sharing our videos, and liking. Again, the conversations that we engage in are conversations that can reach out to the masses. Si ati ni mtu mzima ama kijana mdogo. So help us grow this community that we're building. I know that it will be large. Episode 100 tutakuwa tunaanzana.
By the time of episode 100 tukifanya like ile sitting ya review, just doing a review of the journey so far. It will be very interesting. So just be with us, stay with us till we get to 105 and beyond. Right? So that's it from us, guys. Deuces. Till next time. Deuces. Unaenda kuifanya mapema. You haven't even thought about it. You're like, mimi nishasoma story.